High noon, Jones and Keefe here on WEEI. It's a Wednesday. You know what time that means. It's Pure Hoops with Justin Turpin, WEEI. You got questions for Turp? Send them in on Twitter at Jones, WEEI, at Keefe21. You can also dial us up, 617-779-7937. What sort of big picture moves could the Celtics make now that Jayson Tatum going to be sidelined, as you hear from Shams there, for a long period of time? How competitive can the Celtics be without Jayson Tatum next year? And what chances do they have against the Knicks beginning with Game 5 tonight? Again, all that at 617-779-7937. Turp, you're in the building for Game 4 at MSG. What was the atmosphere like when you saw Tatum crumpled in a heap on the floor?
Yeah, it was like a feeling of emptiness after. I don't think everyone really knew the extent when he first went down. It was just you saw him kind of grabbing at his ankle because on the other end, OG was throwing down a dunk, so everyone was kind of looking at that. But when you see him writhing around and calling a timeout himself, you knew it was something more serious than just an ankle sprain or something.
How do you think the team responds?
That's the thing is, like, I think this team, you mentioned it earlier, that they're just so talented and that they have plenty more to still make this competitive. But just losing, and they understand, like, kind of what's at stake beyond just losing Tatum, like what this means for their future together. And they're still down 3-1. Like,
right.
Only 12 teams have climbed out of that hole. So what they're facing is already hard enough. So I think they understand what's against them. But I mean, this team, for a team that prides itself on just being so focused on game by game, like focusing on the mental aspect, I expect them to come out and at least give it a shot.
Do you think stylistically it'll be different without Tatum? And if so, how so?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jaylen Brown's probably the guy that's going to run your offense now, and they play vastly different. Like, Jayson wants to play slow, whereas Jaylen's one of the best transition players in the league, so it's going to look different. And in a way, Jaylen running the offense could be a good thing for the Celtics in this series. Just get out and run, play quick, because playing slow really hasn't worked at all times this series.
What do you think the starting lineup will be?
Yeah, I keep going back and forth with this. I think Pritchard should start.
Same.
I mean, you're 20 shots a game that you need to make up for now with Jayson being out, and I think Pritchard's a good option for that. He's been one of your most efficient scorers this postseason. But then again, when you're looking at it, like, if Kristaps Porzingis, and he looked better in Game 4, he still wasn't great, but looked better. If he's good enough to start, I think Hauser will start instead of Pritchard.
So
They're going to keep it like that.
That's also what I think. If
interesting.
Hauser is active,
he's going to play. I know I said that the other day too, but he's probable.
But that's probably the most likely lineup that Missoula would go with. I'm with you, though. I want Porzingis back in the lineup. I want Pritchard in there. Let's get your best five out there. Horford's off the bench. Hauser can mix in off the bench. Maybe there's some Cornette. Maybe a Shireman cameo or a Torrey Craig cameo. Like, I don't know. But I would lean in on those five. That's how I want them to start, but I doubt they will.
Yeah, I have a feeling if Porzingis is good enough to go, he's going to start. And if they start with a double big, they're going to put Hauser in there instead of Pritchard.
What are the chances this is, if they lose, Porzingis' last game with the Celtics?
I mean, we were talking about that before this injury.
Right.
And all of it's now, again, like when this group was put together and this roster was constructed, it was with the idea of there is an expiration date. Like, this isn't something that's going to be a decade-long team. Like, they knew this was, you get 1, 2, 3, that's it. That's all you got. You got that many years to make a run, and thankfully they got one last year, but it was already a conversation we were having. And now when you're looking at it, this starting five, including Tatum next year, is going to cost this new ownership group $200 million. And then you got all the luxury taxes. The roster to keep in place next year is going to cost $500 million. Are they going to do that for a team that Jayson Tatum cannot play on? Wick Grossbeck told the Greg Hill Show last month that you cannot live in the second apron. That's just the reality. And you and we all have our thoughts on it, that, yes, the luxury tax has a part of that, but he referenced specifically the basketball penalties. So it's only a matter of time until they start getting out of this. At first, I thought they were going to do it in increments, but are they as inclined to do it in increments now when you're looking at it like Al Horford? He's a free agent. If Tatum misses all next year, he's going to be 40 by the next time Tatum plays. Is it worth keeping him? I mean, is he going to sign for a minimum deal? Like, that's something. Drew Holiday's going to be 36 when Tatum comes back if he misses all next year. So it changes the trajectory of everything.
The next time Tatum plays with the Celtics, I feel like Brown, Pritchard, maybe White will be there, and nobody else will be.
Feels like Hauser's one that's on the chopping
He'll
block.
be gone.
I mean, when $80 million in real money for him, and his extension kicks in next year.
Because Porzingis, even if they keep him, his contract's up. Holiday is just old. He's still under contract.
Right.
He's old, and then Horford's up.
Horford's
He might not
year to
want to
year,
come back.
right.
So I think it's almost easy to think all those guys.
And they also
Tatum
have to
won't
look
play
at
with
it as like, well, if Horford's going to be 40 next time he plays, do you prioritize signing Cornette now? Like, that's a reality you have to have. He's 10 years younger than him, and Cornette has been a player they really liked that's been really good and effective in this offense. Like, I don't know. Like, everything changes with this Tatum.
Where do you start? We just mentioned Porzingis, but where do you start? Who's the first guy? Horford's his own call. He's a free agent. Who's the first guy? Well, let me rephrase. Out of Horford and Holiday, Porzingis and Holiday, I would have said Porzingis was the guy if Tatum's healthy next year and back. They got to peel off pieces. They're going to get below the luxury tax. I would have said Porzingis was the guy to go. I was annoyed and fatigued by the whole experience. Now, knowing Tatum's going to be out for a year plus, I think I'd rather have Porzingis with Jalen next year. I'd move Holiday now.
I would agree, mainly because of just how the roster is constructed now. Because Al Horford's your one free agent, so that's out of your control. Luke Cornette's turning 30. Like, is he going to try to take a deal somewhere where he can cash in before it's too late? He took a minimum deal to come back last year, declined more money elsewhere to come back here. Maybe he has to cash in. So what are you looking at your bigs then? Porzingis and Keita? Like, you're going to need Porzingis, and obviously they're going to need more help there as well. So, and if you look at the guards, though, you got Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, and Drew. Peyton can start. So I think they're in a better shape now with the guards than they would be with the bigs. So, and the money's not much of a difference. I think Holiday's due like a little over $1 million.
Yeah, he has more term, but the money for next year is not that.
For next year's money, it's like a matter of like $1 million or a little bit more. So looking at just where the roster is in terms of construction, it would make more sense to me to keep Porzingis.
Do you think Brad Stevens is in it for the long haul? Just because he's really, really good at it.
Right.
He pretty quickly got them into a title contender. All this idea of like just shedding salary, and now you have to go through a full season without Jayson Tatum. Any inkling if he gets the maybe I'm going to coach again. Maybe like I did this, I won a title. This seems like it's going to be insane to sort of do like another kind of I don't want to call it a rebuild, but sort of like a remodel of the team. Is he up for that?
It's funny because he's never really expressed that, right? He's always kind of said that he's happy in the role. Of course, it's going to come up. It's natural. Like, he's a younger guy, was obviously a phenomenal coach when he was a coach. Do you agree with that, Jones? He was a great coach?
I think he was fine.
Yeah, he's a fine
coach. He was a tremendous college coach.
I think Udoka was a better coach.
Yeah.
I think Mazzulla honestly might be a better coach.
I would agree with that. But he is a coach that can coach in the NBA.
Oh,
like teams would line up to give
I think
him.
college teams would jump at it. NBA teams would probably
I think that's
what
people usually look at too. It's like, oh, he'd go back to the collegiate level. So I mean, it's always an option, so that's why it comes up. But I don't think, to my knowledge at least, he's never expressed that he wants to go back into coaching. And I think at this point,
lifestyle's way better as a front office executive than a coach in college.
And I feel like he's going to embrace this challenge. Like, look, he's done a great job building this roster. Everyone has the faith in him. And the way even Wick Grossbeck talked about it last month again with the Greg Hill show, when he was like, there's no one else I'd rather have running this than Brad Stevens. It seems like them two have, like, this is it. This is going to be a partnership moving forward, and Brad Stevens is going to be the one to get them out of this. And I don't think coaching's really on his mind.
We're talking to Justin Turpin, Pure Hoops, high noon.
Are we going Pure Hoops still or somber hoops?
Sad hoops.
Well,
sad
it's a little more somber and sad today.
They're still in it. They're still
pure.
Yeah,
there's still a playoff game to be played tonight, fellas.
It's a good point.
Which we both think they're going to win. Do you think they win tonight?
I do think they win tonight. Okay. Yeah, winning the series is going to be tough. A Celtics team hasn't done it since the 80s. And the thing is, they had Larry Bird averaging like 26, 11, and 7. And now they're without their modern-day Larry Bird. So it's going to be difficult. And again, only 12 teams have done it, like 4% of the teams that have faced this deficit. So
but
it's going to be tough, but they're talented.
And it's still the Knicks. Like and the Knicks have been very good in this series.
We've been saying that for a while now.
No, we have, but you said earlier, Turp, I think they win tonight. I think they can win the series. Predicting they're going to win the series is extreme, but I am predicting they win tonight. I'd be very disappointed if they don't. Send it back to New York, put pressure on New York. I think the Celtics respond. Like, I expect that early. I expect them to come out.
Coming off a loss.
So I expect that. I also expect the Knicks, human nature, we're up 3-1. They don't have Tatum. I expect the Knicks to let their foot off the accelerator a little bit. And I just don't fully trust the Knicks to close out the Celtics tonight.
I also think in games, for what put them in the hole was just simply missing shots. Like, they were getting these wide open looks, and there was more to it, like maybe questionable decisions down the stretch, turning the ball over, not moving the ball, whatever it may be.
And as good of a player and as talented of a player as Tatum is, he was in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, and they've been good without him. Like, there's enough talent to get by. And I think in Game 4, the Knicks just straight up beat the Celtics. They played better. I mean, they shot 66% in the second half, and part of that was because of the Celtics, like how they were playing. Like, they completely got away from their identity. A team that, after they went down 0-3 to Miami, Joe Mazzulla came in his second year, and like they wanted to pride themselves on the defensive end. They completely got away from that in Game 4. They also just weren't focusing on the details that they emphasize all the time. Turning the ball over, offensive rebounds. If you take away 6 of their offensive rebounds, the Celtics probably win game 4, even before Tatum goes down. So they're just going to get back to playing their brand. That's all much more important now without Jayson Tatum than it was then.
What was the bigger issue in game 5? Was it, or I guess game 4? Was it just the defense being so bad all of a sudden, or was it nobody other than Tatum scoring?
When you shoot 66% in the second half of an NBA game, like that's incredible. Like how the defense was that bad for a team, again, that prides itself defensively was a problem. And I also think that led to their offense. Like when you're not getting stops, you're playing against a set defense, it's harder to score. And Joe Mazzulla always emphasizes that to that team, that like it's offense and defense are just so connected and you can't have one without the other. So when their defense is allowing every time down the floor, they're allowing points, they're playing against a set defense, it's tough.
What are your personal expectations for Porzingis?
I mean, they're going to need him really bad to step up. I mentioned it earlier. I thought he was better in game 4. He played the most minutes he's played this series, was, seemed to be moving a little bit better. Still getting beat on rebounds by Deuce McBride, which you just can't have. You just can't have that. Also, that's really cool
Deuce
in New York when they're all like Deuce, they shoot a 3. That's pretty fun. But I mean, he looked better, but they need way more than him, way more from him, and he really hasn't had a signature aside from game 1, and that was really only the first half. He hasn't really had a signature playoff game as a Celtic. Like, obviously, everyone again is going to point to game 1 of the finals, but that was the first half, and he burned hot. Like, there wasn't really much more to that. So they're going to need him to step up. He's been really underwhelming, and I don't think anyone would argue to the contrary.
His signature moment is getting elbowed in the face. Like, that's a signature moment in this postseason.
In this postseason,
loved it. Yeah. Anything Joe Mazzulla can do specifically tonight, because I think if they just lost the series with Tatum, there'd be a lot of, wow, you guys failed to live up to expectation, and that's a bad failure of a season. And they did lose 3 games with Tatum. But as for tonight, I feel like if they lose tonight or tomorrow, how much blame do you think lands on Mazzulla?
I mean, a lot of it's going to land on him. It's just the reality. That's what comes with the territory of coaching one of the greater teams assembled, one of the most talented teams in the league, undoubtedly. Of course, it's going to fall back on the coach, and he's always kind of been under that spotlight ever since his first year, and some of it wavered when they won a championship, but some of it still lingers as well. So that's just the reality of sports, I think. Like, it's always going to come down to the coaches, especially when the team is this talented. But, I mean, from a X's and O's game standpoint, I'd like to see him go to Pritchard more tonight. Like, you need a scoring boost. That's what you need, and I think Pritchard's the guy that can provide that for them.
Yeah, and energy. I mean, the team they're going to need some energy. I think that would make a lot of sense. In a weird way, I think Mazzulla gets some job security out of this.
I'd agree. I don't think it was ever in doubt after this anyway, even if they lost with Tatum.
If they got knocked out against New York and Tatum wanted him out, he's gone.
No, but Tatum would have wanted him out.
I'm just saying, if that happened, if Tatum ever gets sick of get up and gets sick of being told at the end of game, 2, that he had a good shot and he didn't take it and he actually had a look. If Tatum gets sick of all that, Mazzulla would be out. I think this gets some job security.
I think it also extends it. So I think there's a little bit of that, but also what happens is next year they play it out, they're fine. Whereas if he failed to get to the finals 2 straight years, whether the players like him or not, they might have moved on.
So
from
not
him.
just for this year, next year as well. I think Mazzulla now has some oddly enough job security.
And part of that could change with a new ownership. And granted, I don't think there's any worry to Joe's job security, but just saying, like, with the circumstances with the new ownership group, and Bill Chisholm and his wife have talked very favorably of Joe. I mean, maybe that changes. Like, maybe it changes with the new ownership, but I don't think there's any chance Joe's going anywhere.
Tatum, I wouldn't expect back at any point next year. We talked about Durant could have come back, or there was some talk about him coming back the following postseason after his Achilles. He did not. Same thing with Klay Thompson. So Tatum's gone for a year. When he comes back, what kind of player can we expect?
It's tough to tell. I mean, the numbers that you were looking at earlier and comparing and contrasting to other Achilles injuries in the league, it's not really a favorable look when you're looking at it. History is not quite on his side, but just because he is on the younger side, he's not one of the only younger guys to have it, but he's on the younger side.
Can he still win an MVP? I know he hasn't, but can he win an MVP?
That's a part that's interesting to me, because he'll have to Wembanyama's coming. These younger players are coming, first of all. And second of all, he just has to get back to – I saw that look.
Don't isolate that.
Oh, yeah, isolate it. The younger players are on the rise, so that's part of it. Turned it around for you there.
That's much better.
And also, it's getting back to just like reading the game at a high level. I think that's why he was jumping more towards MVP contention this year is because his assist numbers were up and he's seen the game at such a high level. Now you have to, after a year off, get back to that, get your win back. So there's a lot that goes into it because I was in the camp that he was definitely going to win an MVP before this, and it's a little bit different.
All right, next year, let's say either Porzingis or Holiday's off the team. What does a Jaylen Brown-led Celtics team look like?
I mean, looking at he's proven he can do it. And maybe not for a long stretch of time because we haven't seen that. That's been Jayson Tatum's probably his best trait is how he's always available. He's always on the floor. Nobody's played more games or minutes, including playoffs, since he got in the league. So we haven't really seen it. It's uncharted territory here that we're going to learn. But I mean, there still is enough. Like, I don't see them ruffling the core of Jayson Tatum, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. So you're going to have Derek White. You're going to have Peyton Pritchard. There's still going to be talent on this team. And to be honest, it's pretty easy to make the playoffs in the NBA. Like, they are going to be a playoff team with or without Jayson Tatum next year. So, I think this is it. This is what he wants, right? He's kind of craved for these moments, and I think any competitor does. I don't think that's independent than Jaylen. Mm-hmm. I think everyone kind of wants these moments. You want a chance to step up, and this is it. Like, now Jaylen gets a chance to prove his worth, and I think he was worth the Supermax, and now it's time to prove it.
I think the goal next year should be, and it's tough because they're down 3-1 right now, so it's hard to be like, you got to win a series without Tatum. Next year, the goal should be win a round without Tatum. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation.
Like my guy, Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
That's my example.
It's a great example, and I think that's reasonable. And I don't know if it's Holiday or Porzingis or maybe neither back, but the Celtics should be able to be a middle-of-the-pack playoff team in the East next year, even without Tatum. So I think that's reasonable. One question here on the text line. It's a Would You Rather Wednesday, so it's worth mixing in.
Yeah.
Would you rather lose tonight or lose in a Game 7? I think that one's easy.
Game 7.
I'd take Game 7 as well.
I mean, that means they won 2 games without Tatum. Like, that shows a lot of fight.
I'd be wildly disappointed. I don't know about you, Turp.
Is it just so that it gets your hopes up that they're going to win?
I think that's what the texter's saying, like the emotional aspect of riding the wave and getting back into it instead of writing them off.
Come on, I'll take that, though.
Me too. Yeah. I would. They'd tell you a lot if they just force a Game 7. Never mind win the series.
Yeah.
It'd tell you a lot. And it'd tell you something, too, if they lose tonight. I'd be very disappointed if they lose tonight.
I'd agree with that. Like, it would tell you a lot that they didn't roll over and they forced a Game 7. But I just worry about how much they have left in the tank. Like, you want Jaylen Brown to take over and really, they're going to lean heavily on him tonight. He's obviously banged up. It's very clear that his knee injury is still bothering him. Obviously, we don't really know what's going on with Kristaps Porzingis. We don't know what he can contribute. Drew Holiday's coming off the hamstring injury. Sam Hauser's coming back from an ankle injury. He hasn't played in 3 games. So I just wonder how much they have left in the tank, like beyond the Jayson Tatum injury. Like, this is a banged-up team. This is a worn-down team right now, so that's a little bit of a concern for me going forward. But again, they have enough talent to at least make this a series.
All right, what's your guess for where does Giannis play next year?
I was all over Dallas, but I just can't see them moving that pick.
Yeah,
like, you kind of got to make the pick there. You're getting a generational player that one would think. He's not even 19 yet.
No, he's young as hell.
Like, he's a very young player.
So he should be a senior in high school.
You think OKC could get in on that?
I think OKC's an option. I also think San Antonio's an option. Like, with the number 2 pick there, the De'Aaron Fox fit wasn't really great. I know we didn't see a ton with him and Wemby, but the fit was kind of weird from the start. They have the assets to make a move. I mean, I could see San Antonio as one. Oklahoma City, look at all they have, but how much of their current roster they want to keep together, because they haven't had to dish out any checks yet. Like, they'll have J-Dub, they'll have SGA, they'll have Chet Holmgren, they have all these guys they have to pay. So OKC will be a little bit tricky just from a financial standpoint. So maybe San Antonio, and I wonder if they want to put him in the West. Like, I wonder if Milwaukee's like, we don't want to keep him in the Eastern Conference.
See,
that's part of it too.
That makes sense. Game 5 tonight. Game 6 is scheduled for Friday, and then a Game 7 potentially on Monday. Pure Hoops with Turp. Every Wednesday, Turp. It's been a good run. We'll see if the Celtics can extend this thing. And make sure you follow all his coverage at weei.com and on Twitter at Justin M. Turpin. We appreciate it, Turp.
All right, guys.
Thank you, sir.